Good morning. Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Christina Delhanaspiag. I'm chair of the Faculty Council, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the College of Behavioral and Community Sciences Spring 2020 Faculty and Staff Virtual Assembly. Obviously, this is the first assembly like this of our kind. We've been working together with several folks to make this happen, so hopefully you will enjoy the presentation today. We are happy that you're here, that you're joining us. As we all know, it's been a unique semester, and I hope that you are not just surviving, but that you're thriving. And we hope that this connection today and this assembly that we have will be beneficial to you and also help you feel more connected to us. So we know that you are all working from home, most of you, and it's been a challenge and a transition. And thank you for all your work that you're doing. Thank you to the staff. Thank you to the faculty, and looking forward to giving you a bit of good news today during our assembly. Next slide, please. So our agenda today, we have a report of the Faculty Council, which I will be delivering. Chris Simmons will be delivering the Curriculum Committee report. Maria Carlo will be delivering the Diversity and Inclusion Committee report. Marilyn Stern will be delivering a report of the Research Council. And then our dean will be giving us an extensive report of the state of the college as well as some COVID updates. We do have some awards that we're going to be announcing today, so we're very excited about that. And then finally, Dr. Michelle Bourgeois is going to be talking to us about her AAAS award presentation. Next slide, please. This is a list of our members that have served 2018 to 2019. We are in the process of finalizing our folks for next year, and so that will be announced shortly. I am coming to an end of my 4-year term working on the council. It's been an incredible opportunity. I've also served as your chair for the past 2 years, and I'd like to take a moment to thank you all for electing me into this position. I really enjoyed being able to be a leader for the Faculty Council, and have enjoyed the opportunity to work with all of the chairs, with all of the staff, and to work with just folks across the entire college. So thank you for that opportunity, and also a big thank you to our Faculty Council members who have been very busy this semester, in particular working on revisions of governance documents, etc. for USF consolidation. Next slide, please. So our accomplishments, we continue to post our minutes on the internet, which is for transparency purposes. We are continuing to work on the revision of the college governance documents, which I am pleased to inform you we are very close. We received some feedback from the provost office yesterday, and that should be forthcoming. We were able to successfully move forward with nominations and awardees for the Dean's Awards. Thank you to our ad hoc committee who helped us with that. We also put together and coordinated and organized with the Dean's Office and the committees and the councils the spring and fall assembly. And we continue to attend to faculty concerns. We also have supported the Dean in some of her additional needs in light of the COVID situation this semester. Next slide. All right, I'm going to now turn it over to Chris Simmons. Thank you so much. There will be a delay of 5 seconds, and also I forgot to mention to you that please go ahead and use the chat in the Q&A box anytime you have a question. You do not need to wait until the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Good morning, everyone. I'm Chris Simmons, and I'm the current chair of the CBCS Curriculum Committee, and I'll give you a brief update on the work we've done in the past academic year. Next slide, please. The Curriculum Committee has reviewed 22 new courses, 18 course changes, 5 program or catalog changes, 2 new degree programs, general education proposal, and 2 proposals to terminate certificates. Next slide, please. And these are the members of the CBCS Curriculum Committee. Each department in the college is represented. And thank you. And the next presenter is Maria Carlo.
Good morning. This is Maria Carlo from the Child and Family Studies Department, and I'm the current chair of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. I have a very brief report. If I could have the next slide, please. So we are a committee composed of staff and faculty. These are the names of our committee members. Could I have the next slide, please? And as you may recall, the committee was established in 2017 by the CBCS Faculty Council. Over the past academic year, we have been working towards achieving recognition for CBCS as a national model of diversity. Among the criteria for that recognition is a category that involves a course audit. So that was one of the first tasks our committee embarked on. During 2019 to 2020, we have been conducting a survey of our graduate courses using the descriptions that are part of the catalog so that we can assess the extent to which we cover diversity and inclusion content in our courses. The results of this course survey are under review by the Faculty Council at the moment, and we hope to be able to share this report with the entire faculty in the fall of 2020. And another effort that we have been involved with is the creation of a climate survey. You may recall that a climate survey was completed, I think it's going to be 3 years now, and we will be surveying the students, faculty, and staff one more time in the fall of 2020 so that this could be a periodic activity. Could I have the next slide? And I'll introduce Marilyn Stern, who will give the next update.
Thank you, Maria. Can I have the next slide? Hi, so this is the membership of the Research Council for 2019 and 20, and I have been serving as chair this year and Amber Gum as vice chair, and we will be doing that again for 2021, and pretty much everyone is staying on, I believe, but there could be some changes. We haven't finalized everything. Next slide. So the main thing that we have been doing is, first we had the internal awards, and we were able to award 3 people in the college internal awards, and I would love to read out the names, but I know I'm going to mangle them up, so I'll just say that we have one from Child and Family Studies, one from Criminology, and the third one from the School of Aging Studies, with the hope that you all can see this on the slide. And I'm really, really terrible about pronunciations of names. Next slide. We just completed our review of the International Collaboration Awards, and these are awards that are primarily not just for travel, but for travel around developing research alliances in other countries. And we've, even though we're not allowed to travel right now, we have decided to award the 2 people who submitted really good applications, Santos and Andel, and they will be hopefully making these trips maybe sometime at the end of the year or beginning of the following year. Next slide. We also had a wonderful program this year, and we always are going to be doing it on Valentine's Day, called I Love Research Student Poster Session. And there were 8 posters presented by both undergraduate and graduate students, and they really were, I thought it was a very successful program, and we have some really very talented undergraduate and graduate students. And the names of the students that won some awards, I think 2 undergraduates and 2 grad students are listed here. Next slide, please. Something new that we did this year, actually it was Mayanne that had kind of spearheaded this. She noted that behavioral community sciences are not really represented in the science fair, and apparently students, elementary schools, junior junior level schools and so forth, high schoolers, get awards because you know, they're in math or in some other the areas in terms of the science fair, but not us. So we were able to give 4 elementary school awards, 1 junior division award, and 1 upper senior division award. And we really hope that we're able to do this next year because I think it's a really wonderful promotion of our university, our college, and also to really basically encourage students to become interested in behavioral and community sciences. Next slide, please. So we've also been working on enhancing the mentorship program, and the goal is to augment what we are doing in the departments. We have 14 pairs of mentors and mentees that have met to discuss expectations for mentorship, and were given suggestions for meeting as teams. There was a follow-up survey via Qualtrics to assess the workshops that have been conducted and what might be beneficial to faculty as planned. And this is an ongoing project, which we obviously are not focused on as much maybe right now with the COVID-19, but hopefully we'll get really going again as soon as we get back, hopefully, to a normal environment. The research website is now updated. We already talked about the collaboration grant cycle. And then we did spend a good amount of time this year talking about the IRB multi-site single IRB concerns, because there are many concerns and the implications were discussed. And this is an ongoing conversation that the Research Council is having. I think the next slide maybe is me introducing the Dean to hear about the state of the college. Thank you very much.
Hold on one moment as we transfer over to our presentation from the Dean.
Good morning, everyone. I guess I was muted. Thank you for being here with us this morning. A couple weeks ago, we said that we were going to have this spring assembly live, and thought this was going to be an easy endeavor, and it has been quite a challenge, but very rewarding at the same time. We've had no less than 6 people from Central IT involved. Right now, we have 2 producers behind the scenes managing today's assembly. And I want to thank all of the persons, the presenters, who spent enormous amounts of time preparing for this. We had dry run-throughs. We had a number of had conversations trying to make sure that we were going to get this done. So thank you to everybody who did that. The response was very, very positive, and I hope that this comes off as well as we hope, as we plan for it to come off. What we're going to do today is I'm going to go through and the typical assembly slides that I present to you every year, and then Tina and I had a discussion around whether to go through the slides on our strategic plan or to spend some time on COVID-19. And we decided, I think right now the strategic plan can wait. So many things have changed, so many things have gone off the rails. We see a new, completely different landscape potentially lying ahead of us in higher education. And so instead, I'm going to be giving some highlight COVID-19 updates, and I invite your questions. You can ask those questions anytime, as Tina said, by using the Q&A feature that's being actively monitored by both Lisa Landis and Patty Cleveland. And towards the end, I'll be answering questions about both this presentation as we go through and COVID-19. But it's really about your time after I give some bigger level highlights. Next slide, please. So we'll begin with student productivity. As you can see, over the past few years, our SCH has gone up. We were at 2015, 5 years ago, we were at 69,000, and now we're at 84,000. That's a tremendous growth. Next slide, please. The growth is primarily the SCH from undergraduate. And I think some of this more recently, as you've seen, we've grown since 2018, a 10,000 SCH. And I think some of this has to do with the fact that you were so responsive to the new student curriculum, undergraduate student curriculum, that we're getting a really good response to those classes. You put your best teachers in there and they did an outstanding job, and students will always come back to classes that they find rewarding, that they find that they believe that the faculty have invested in. And so I think this has been a big change for the college, and I'm very grateful for that. Next slide, please. Our SCH in the graduate level has remained stable. We hope to see some growth moving forward. We have an MFT program beginning in the fall. We have some other, well, we hope that's what's going to happen. We'll talk about COVID-19 as well, but if we can just at least maintain on the graduate SCH, I think we would be great. It would be terrific. Next slide, please. Headcount. The fact that the reason I was saying that I think that a lot of it has got to do with meeting the needs of our new students is that our headcount has obviously gone down over the years. It's peaking, it's starting to perk back up again. And I'm hoping to see that continue. But that's why when you see the SCH go up so dramatically and our headcount go down, is I think that we're meeting other needs, and that is just fine because students need those classes to graduate. We produce some great, interesting classes that they won't get if they're a biology major, that they'll never get in any other areas like aging studies, et cetera, lifespan. So thank you for that work. I think we jumped ahead. We got out ahead of those classes, and students are taking advantage of that. Next slide, please. Our graduate headcount has also been coming up gradually. We've been adding some graduate programs. We've added some PhD programs. We've been adding some master's programs and certificates. And so slowly those numbers are going up, which is going in the perfect direction that we needed to be going in. Next slide, please. All right, let's talk a little bit about student success. And as we all know, that's very important to this university. This is first time in college, second year retention rate. And as you can see, we're one of the highest in the university. The first bar for each year is graduating from the same, being retained in the same college, retaining our college, and being retained at USF. So we've been staying pretty stable at about 76% of our freshmen returning to the college and 86% returning to the university, which is, again, some of the highest in the university. Next slide, please. Our graduation rates have also been very high. This is first time in college. This is 4 years, so we have it as far back as 2016. Obviously, we'll have 2015 numbers this spring. We just don't have them yet, but we've been increasing and staying high at 80%, again, some of the highest that we've seen in the university. Next slide, please. Our undergraduate degrees have gone down, and like I said, our headcount has gone down. And so as long as we can stabilize and keep working on our undergraduate degrees, we all know what the issues are. We all know what the problems are. We all know the challenges of students finding us. We all know the challenges of them staying interested. I think sometimes they come thinking that we're going to be some easy degrees, and we're not. And so we're going to keep working on this, and we've got dedicated advisors and dedicated professionals that are spending some time working and thinking through how we could increase the number of our degrees granted, which is a reflection of our undergraduate enrollment. Next slide, please. Our graduate degrees granted, again, has increased, and we're almost double what we were doing back in 14-15, which is tremendous. Again, this is remember we decided this is what we were going to focus on, that if we could not focus and we could not control what happens in our undergraduate enrollment, which we've been complaining to the university about for years now, we decided we were going to control what we could, and that was our graduate enrollment in our graduate programs, and it's really paying off for us, I believe. And so I'm grateful for those of you who have initiated new certificates, new programs, and all the other kinds of work that we've done in the graduate level. We really took the bull by the horns, per se, and just said, okay, let's take care and fix or enhance the things that we can enhance. So thank you. Next slide, please. This is really a tremendous accomplishment. I want to thank our advisors, Lisa and her team, as well as our faculty for offering the classes when they needed to be offered, and working with students when we needed to work with them. We were back in 2012 when I got here, 77% were graduating without excess hours. Now we're at 92. And right now, it's a matter of holding on to that 92. You know, yes, if we can slowly grow it, that would be great. Right now, with the situation that we're faced with the current circumstance, I think the university, not only the university, but the state is really going to have to look at graduation rates again. People are going to have to take time off. People are going to have to stop going to classes. They're going to have to delay their degrees. And so at least this is something, though, that in the long term we can hopefully maintain and keep a grasp on without our students graduating without excess hours. Next slide, please. Now this is really going to go up, isn't it now? Our online SCH, we've done an incredible job. And I think in many reasons, the transition for our college during this COVID-19 crisis hasn't been quite as stressful in all areas as it has been in other areas of the college, is because we transitioned and we pivoted early on. And so now we have some very successful classes that have been offered online for a long period of time. And you can see if in 1 year we go from 33 to 39, this means students want a good online experience. They're savvy. They're going to go to where those good experiences are. They talk to each other. They share information. They know where to go. And I think that is at least one of the explanations. There are others, but one of the explanations that we've seen a real increase in SCH. Because believe me, you can put a great program, a great class on, a good class on, and if students don't find it satisfying, they're not going to recommend it to others. And if you look over the time, we're up almost 20,000 SCH from 2014. So you're doing an outstanding job. Thank you very much. This is really a testament, and I think again we're going to see this go up some more, and we can talk about that in a little bit. Next slide, please. So now we get to grants and contracts. This is something that we always shine at, and something that we're going to, during this COVID-19 crisis, I've seen the grants still go out. We believe that there's a number of significant awards that are going to continue to come in that were submitted before this whole situation. I want to thank all the researchers who have been holding tight and doing the right thing about their research. I know some of you are very frustrated that you can't continue or that you're hampered. And some of you are not, depending on how you planned the research you were going to do. And so I know this is frustrating for many of you, but I hope that we don't stop writing these proposals and can continue to look ahead to what we think funders may be interested in. Now, Howard has put out some information from the State Department and from DC. But I think if we can even tailor our own and be thinking about the own research that we're doing and how we might be able to look at opportunities during this situation to adapt the work that we're doing and seek funding for that during this time. Next slide, please. This is proposals requested by year. Now, as you might recall, I looked last night, and right now, so far this year, and we won't have complete data until, well, we won't actually have it until probably sometime in September, by the time the foundation closes their books and everything. So this is last year. I looked this morning or last night, and we were at about 65,000 in proposals. And that is really great, considering that the last 2 years we finished with each of those years having, each year having one $50 million proposal in there. So actually, we're really looking at more like $100 million in proposals each year. We're going to see a drop It's perfectly fine. I expect it. I've told everybody they expect it. It's going to be okay. We can't keep up that kind of trajectory given the situations that we're facing and the fact that in those 2 years, groups put together such large proposals. So we're going to be fine. Next slide, please. So, which is evidenced by this past year, and again, we won't see this until September as well. Last year, we ended the year at over $30 million in new grants and contracts, and that included almost $7 million in federal awards. This morning, when I looked at the awards so far, we were at 27 million. So we're doing great this year. We're going to end up this year just fine. Just don't stop. Look for opportunities considering this situation. Don't see it as a roadblock. See if there's an opportunity. And I know of at least one grant that's looking to go out, seizing upon this opportunity and looking to see how federal government might be willing to supplement the work that this researcher is doing to and expand it to COVID-19. So we all need to be thinking about that. Next slide, please. So our expenditures continue to be overall pretty stable. It's our federal and flow-through expenditures that have been increasing in the past year. Again, number one, we're paying more attention to this. We're also looking at it more carefully. We're tracking it better. We're helping the university track it better. And I expect that I don't see that that's going to change this year. In fact, we've had a number of R21s. We've had some R01s come in this year. So I think that's going to remain very well on track. Next slide, please. Our F&I rate, again, we can only report from last year. We're hanging there at around 14%. This is a very difficult number to move, but we are moving it. Every 0.1 percentage is a lot of money. And so I want to thank the research administrators, the faculty, everyone on Howard's team that's been working with you all to really help get this, to help move this. I'm very pleased with it, and I defend this strongly and with passion to the university that I think we're clearly going in the right direction. We have some movement, and I think we're gonna get there. Next slide, please. Okay, let me just ask now questions about everything else I've just gone through in terms of just our success in the classroom and the research that we're doing.
Julie, there is one budget-related question. It says, we are expecting significant budget reduction for the next fiscal year. Do you have any idea of the magnitude in dollars for each unit?
I will get to that a little bit in my COVID-19 updates. Okay, so currently, I just want you all to know we have over 200, almost 220 people on this presentation today, and I'm grateful again for all of you to take the time and to join us. Let me give some high-level COVID-19 updates. First of all, let me say that as a college, we are staying healthy. Thank you for that. Thank you for everything you're doing to keep yourselves, your families healthy. We're not hearing a whole lot. We've had 2 verified cases of graduate students in the college who are quarantined, taking care of themselves. We've had an anonymous faculty report, but we don't know if that test has come back positive or not. For a size of a college as big as it is, I think that's remarkable. So I am grateful that you're doing what you need to do. You're distancing, you're staying home, but the job is still getting done. Thank you for that. This is our primary goal. In the next few weeks, our primary goal is for us to stay healthy so that we can help others in our college and help our students. So do whatever it is that you need to do, and use all the precautions. We all look silly out there with masks. At least I feel like I look silly with a mask, but I think it's the right thing to do. Keeping ourselves separate is the right thing to do. So please adhere to all of the CDC recommendations. And we've published those. They're on the websites. The university keeps a really good list of those on the university website. So please stick with that. Again, that is our #1 goal, is keeping you all healthy. So of course, the second is keeping our students healthy. Now, we've put out, there's an email that went out this week, and it's posted on our website, that student health and success and wellness coaches are available to our students for non-mental health, non-major, maybe stress is fine, non-major mental health issues. Please refer them. Should they need to just talk to somebody, and that's what these people are. They're just someone to talk to, maybe how to manage the school, work, life, home dilemmas they might be facing, questions that they might have about testing. That can go to these people as well. They know how to triage people's needs. If they need more assistance than just your run-of-the-mill answering questions, then they know where to refer them. So please make your students aware in your classes that this is available to them. Again, we've placed it on our website. The university has it on their website, and you should have received an email this week about that. As you all know, and you've seen in the paper, there is some stimulus money, about $34 million coming to the university to assist with this crisis. Half of that has to go out to students directly in terms of aid to help them. A lot of them have lost their jobs, their parents have lost their jobs. They are living without secure rent payments. They're living without food security. So half of that, which would be about 17 million, those procedures and the applications should be coming out early next week. The money hasn't arrived to the university yet. And so we believe it's going to come early next week, and we will be prepared as soon as it does to send things out. Please do not hesitate to let your students know about this, and that at least some immediate help will be coming. We were the 3rd largest recipients in the state of Florida. UCF, I think it was FIU, and then us, recipients in the state. It's primarily because the money was based on the number of Pell recipients that we have in our university. And so we need to make sure that those students are well aware. Unfortunately, we also believe that the number of Pell recipients is very likely to increase in the coming year as parents and other supportive family members lose jobs, including spouses and other loved ones. So we're going to be monitoring that very carefully. Let me say there's a fiscal question. The other half of that, we are unclear as to how that can be spent, but let me say that we've already given rebates to students for the remainder of whatever was on their food vouchers. We've given them prorated on their dormitory rents that they paid, and other kinds of fees. That's already being worked on, and a lot of it's already out to students now. So we have to find out how we can spend that money, but let me say that this summer, we are going to be having to pay for dormitories that are going to be empty. That's expensive. That, along with trying to keep individuals employed that are temporarily now, we're trying to reassign them throughout the university because they've lost the jobs in some of those areas. So I would imagine that a lot of money, that this is not even going to be enough to cover what we're experiencing. And the governor has not signed the budget yet, and we believe that obviously this is the reason why. We don't know what that means. The university was not slated to receive much at all, and so we don't know if even that, because of what's happening in the state, if even that might be cut. So to the question about what kind of cuts can we expect, we have had absolutely no discussions around that, because right now we're worried about people. We're not worried, we can't focus on money right now, we're focusing on people. So that will come later. There's just too many uncertainties about that. We don't know how students are going to respond to staying in classes this summer, how they're going to respond to Maymester, and certainly how they're going to respond to the fall, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. Along those lines, as I say, this time is about people. It's keeping you healthy. It's keeping our students healthy. It's keeping and then for you all, it's keeping in contact with our students. I've already asked the chairs in our one-on-one meetings if we're seeing students drop. Let me just talk right now about undergraduate, just an undergraduate. For them, if students are not showing up to class, please reach out. We need to know where they are, if they're okay, how can we help? Remember, our students are just not used to knowing how to ask for help. We need to go to them. It is very important that we retain them here at USF. And if they feel frustrated, if they feel like it's all falling apart, they need to know that no, we can get them assistance, and this is how we can do it. But it's the frontline people, it's you, faculty, advisors. We really need you paying attention to what's going on with these students. The healthier our students are, the more help that we can get them, the more likely they are to stay, and that's what we need. We don't need a mass exodus of our undergraduate students leaving the university at this time, especially when we know help is on the way and we can be flexible. And I'm encouraging all of you to be as flexible as possible in this spring. And then as we move, again, Maymester and then summer, and I'll talk about summer in a minute. For our graduate students, it's the very same thing. Please, if you see a student not hanging out, we know that, I know for a fact that many of you are doing this because there are cases in the college where we can't find graduate students. Number one, thank you for at least pursuing this. We will find them. You know, there's all kinds of reasons that they could be dropping off. And so, but if there are reasons that we can help them with, then we need to reach out. But as master's and doctoral, the same thing goes for our fall admissions. Please be in contact. And I know this is a lot of work. I can help in terms of, we have templates that we can get from maybe other units that are writing to their incoming students and telling them, just about keeping in contact with them. We really want them to be here in the fall. We know in one unit, we've already lost 3 out of 5 PhD students. And so we really don't want that to happen. And it takes that high touch from you, or if you need it to be me, let me know. I'll call people to get them, to make sure that we can hold on to them, especially our most talented students. We need to hold on to them coming into the fall. We can't control what happens with the undergraduate students. That's there's offices to take care of that, but we can control what happens. We've extended graduate admissions. We don't have an exact date. That the decision was pretty much made yesterday. We could either June 1 right now for masters. PhD's done. We know that, but for masters, June 1 is the deadline. The university is deciding, and we put in a vote to extend it either to June 15th or July 1. I consulted with the chairs yesterday, and we felt like for most of them, July 1 would be, we may be able to pick up a few more graduate students that we may have lost somewhere else along the way. So please stay as active and as involved as you can in those in maintaining these students. Now, before I go into summer, let me just stop there. I know it's a whole lot. Before I go into summer and a few other things, let me just see what questions there are.
There's just one quick question about the fall semester, but you might be getting into that.
Okay, terrific. Summer. As you know, we are going remote on summer. In our college, we have done a great job in converting so many of our classes over the years that there's only a handful that there could be some problems with. I know Lisa Landis and others, the chairs, are on top of this. IT is willing to give us all the assistance that they can. Please reach out early to them. One of the things that you might notice in the FAQs for the university is that for summer B, because we don't know the trajectory of this virus and we don't know what may or may not happen with it, the university has left some wiggle room that if conditions improve, that there may be, if we can use social distancing, if we can get things in all the right order, we may have some classes that can be offered in person. Now, let me say, the intention really behind this is for those that have to complete labs, those that need the hands-on lab training that we just can't do remotely. That's really what that language is about. But I just want you to know that, if we see, an improvement and what needs to happen. Well, I'm sure you all know, but basically we need to see current cases go down. We need an effective and a good antibody test. And this is key because the cases can go down and we can know that people have been infected. And once we know they're infected, they develop the antibodies. And to the best of our knowledge, they cannot be reinfected. Now, I'll get back to that. Now, what we don't know is if we can develop, how quickly we can develop or can be developed an effective antibody test to say you're safe to go back into the public. You're safe to go back to your job. This is what is being worked on very actively right now. Now, when, I've heard as early as this week, I've seen nothing. I've heard next week, I've heard in a month, we don't know. So those are the kinds of things that are hindering movement in that space. So as we move then into fall, we are hoping that if indeed these things can be developed, and if we can get adequate testing, reliable testing, and we know who really has been exposed, because we're understanding, and you all have had family members, I'm sure, like this, who had very low, that were infected, but showed very little symptomology and got on the other side of it, and they probably have the antibodies, and so they can probably go out and back into the workplace or in the school place. But in the meantime, there are still people that have very low levels that are infected, probably don't know it, low levels of symptomology, and are still moving about. So the other issue with this, so for fall, right now, the fall, the university plans on being on campus in fall. I believe that we need to prepare for both options. The university is also watching, but we're not, what we don't know, and some people claim they know, I don't know, but what happened with the Spanish flu, that's being watched, saying that, well, people went back and then we had a worst epidemic when they went back in the fall, and it really never even cleared up until the following summer. That was 100 years ago. And so that's what's being talked about right now, is we may feel better, things may get better over the summer, will we have a rebound effect? So in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I'm not speaking for the university, I think we need to prepare for both. And we need to prepare even for a hybrid approach. so that if indeed we find things are going well and we can get back in the classroom, that we can do so safely. The size of our classes will not be the way they were in person. We will not have 200 people in a classroom. It just won't happen. We won't have the gatherings that we had. We won't have the big functions live that we had. So the way that we're going to operate and doing business moving forward is not going to be the same. For some of our smaller classes, we can find ways to spread people out and using, maybe some, again, the best practices in hygiene, be able to host some of our classes back on campus. But that is still very unclear. What I'm saying is, and I've said to the chairs earlier this week on Wednesday when we met, is to what would be the impact if we could not be back on campus, and to begin talking with all of you around what that might look like and what do we have to do, because I don't want to wait till then. Everything's happened so fast. I know what it's done to everybody. I know how it's worn you out. I know how exhausting it's been. I know what it's done to in ed. We have a lot of expertise in this college that we can leverage to be able to help each other if we need to. And so I want to make sure that we get on top of this, be thinking now. Internships, that's already come to my attention. For some of you who, it depends on the major, and it depends on your sites. We know that telemental health, even though we just started this great big, work group on it, it's just flown. And we know that people are doing it. We have, and I think in the School of Social Work, we have a class. This is where I'm talking about opportunity. We have a class, one credit class coming up that we're going to be able to offer on telemental health for our students. We need to be thinking like that. We need to be doing more of that so that they can maybe still do internships depending on the nature of the internship. I know, again, my son's in business. He has an internship for the summer, and for right now, they're saying he's still going to have that. It's not going to be in person, but they're still going to be able to do it. So we need to be working with our sites, and we need to be working with them now for both, obviously summer, but clearly for fall as well. So if it doesn't come into fruition, if we don't have to do this online, that's fine. I know it's been work. I know it's been effort, and it may come in handy. I hope it will come in handy at some other time for each and every one of you who puts in that effort. But I just don't think we should hold that up at this point in time. So let me again stop there. And see what questions you might have.
We have several questions. One is, has there been discussion in higher admin about faculty and staff layoffs?
No, there has not. What we've talked about actually is, again, trying to reassign temporary our workers who are currently either furloughed or have been laid off because of this. When we think about all those people who work in the student center, who worked in our dorms, who worked in theaters, who worked in all different other areas. Now, it doesn't mean at some point something might happen along those lines. We've already seen other universities freezing hiring. We've seen other universities putting administrators on furlough. We've seen other universities cutting higher administration folks' salaries. And so it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen, but we are not discussing it. Your health, your well-being, the health of our students takes priority. These questions come up and there's just too many unknowns at this point in time. If I hear anything, believe me, you will know, but I don't expect to hear anything, and I certainly don't expect to hear anything soon. Right now, it's business as usual. Let's keep these students here. Let's do the best that we can where we're at, but there's been no talk whatsoever about furloughs or layoffs.
The next question is, can graduate certificate admission deadlines be extended as well?
Yes, and I would think that should be automatic, but let's look into that. Make a note for me there, Patty, and we will look into that and get something out around that. Thank you for the question. I didn't even think about that. I would assume so, though.
I think you alluded to this earlier, but the question is, do we expect to be safer at home all summer?
Boy, you know, if I had the answer to that, it's a great question. I don't know. I don't know. It looks, when I look, and every day, you know, I look to see what's happening in my own zip code, what's happening in Florida, and it looks like the curve has leveled, which is very encouraging, but we just don't know. And again, I would listen to CDC. I would look to you know, Charlie Lockwood's gives some great updates. He was very positive in the last update that he gave at the town hall. For those of you who attended, I think he felt much more positive. But the big thing, really, the key here is still antibody testing. It's still antibody testing. And so I don't know. Sorry.
Next question is, how will consolidation of faculty from other campuses be changed by COVID-19?
Actually, if anything, it's really helped bring us even closer together, because we're all facing all of this the same. And so I don't see it impacting anything. Everything is staying on track. The Board of Governors did cancel one of their meetings to in that meeting they were supposed to discuss our proposal. We told them that, you know, if they did that, then we were out of state law compliance, and that's really a problem for us. And so they're having a special meeting, and I don't recall the date that they will be discussing our proposal. And so we don't see any delay whatsoever in consolidation as a result of COVID-19.
When can non-essential faculty return to campus and work or obtain resources from their offices?
So if you need resources from your offices, right now in so many ways, campus is probably one of the safest places to be, because we have so few people there. If there's something that you absolutely essentially need, that's essential to you, then be in contact with Stefan and Patty. And we have already found ways to get broken computers fixed. We have found ways to get materials to you, but please do not enter campus without our knowledge. Don't go there unless we're aware, and you have to tell us why it's essential, where it is, and we will work with everybody if we need to go back on campus. But remember, there are people in our building that are still working in our building. We have to keep them safe there. And so, and that is a priority. So whatever you ask for that you need out of your office has got to weigh pretty heavy on this. And they will work with me, and we will find a way as best as we possibly can.
Should we be placing more emphasis on converting undergrad and grad courses to online format?
Well, if there is a version of the class that you're going to be teaching that somebody else has taught online, please use that. Please go there first. If it's a brand new class, and it has to be offered in spring or fall, I think we have to. I think we have to. If it's going to be offered next spring, hold on. I mean, I know there's a lot of classes that had to pivot. They're not fully online. You're doing them remotely at this point. I wouldn't worry about them right now if they're not going to be offered summer or fall. But if they're going to be offered summer or fall, I would certainly be taking a look, and certainly taking a look to see if somebody else has offered that already online that you may be able to use, so that we're not having to spend time recreating a class that somebody has also has offered it before. I hope that answers the question. And if I'm not answering your questions, please go back on and ask for clarification.
Where are we with regard to both CBCS and departmental governance document approvals and tenure and promotion guidelines approvals?
Good question. So I think it was yesterday, although like for many of you, these days blur together, but I think it was yesterday we got back both the P&T and the governance document for the college from the university. There were very few comments on them, but Jim Gary did want some clarification. There are more in P&T than there was in the governance, and I think as soon as those changes and we get both a clean and a red line version back to them, I think that they will be approved. As far as the P&T documents, again, most of them have come in. We were forwarding directly to the university. Allison has been taking care of that for me, so I don't have to think about it. But I think most of them, except for maybe one or maybe two, have already come in, and we're forwarding it on. Thank you for the question.
No more questions right now.
Okay, great. So let me just finish up here with a few things. I don't even know what I'm doing on time. Okay, I feel like I'm talking forever. Okay, so just a few things. There is going to be a extension of the tenure promotion clock for those that are not tenured, and you can ask for extension for fourth year review as well. Please know the guidance on how to process that is on the university website. Please follow the directions. A letter needs to be written to your chair that will forward to me. If you choose to write that letter, please put in the date of your hire. Please put in the date that you were supposed to go up for either that fourth year review and then for tenure, or the date that you were supposed to go up for your current tenure, and the date then that you will be extending it. For the most part, the university is considering this an automatic across the board. So this is not something that they think that it's going to be automatic, but you can pretty much opt out if you need to opt out. So that's very important. And then I was asked we're going to ask you for some photos of your work at home experience. We want to keep in touch with you. We want to, see, you'll get pictures of me in my shorts and whatever, so, let's see some pictures of your work at home experience with your cats or your whatever. So we know, what your situation might look like. And Patty will follow up probably through communique on Monday about this. So just know that is coming. And the last thing is, I was asked to remind all of you, and this is very important, to fill out the 2020 census. You can go to 2020census.gov. Remember that the census is what brings resources, monetary resources from the federal government to our local communities. And right now we need that more than ever. So please complete the census. I know this is something that you easily could have forgotten. I know I was prompted by the census and reminded me that I hadn't filled it out, and so I went in. It takes 10 minutes. It's very easy to do, but it really brings very important resources to our community. And again, at a time like this, I think it's just essential that every one of us be counted. So before I move on, Patty, how are we doing on questions?
No other questions.
All right. Very good. Now let me say to that end that, and I'm rearranging because now I get to do the awards, which is very exciting, but it takes I don't have two screens at home, and you all know what this is like, not having two screens. So I've got my iPad to do a part of this because I want to read parts of these awards to you just to do it justice, because the awards, as I've said to you over and over again, are very important. We need to be recognizing people in our community, in our college that are doing great things. And so we were not going to stop this assembly, and we debated on whether we needed to give out the awards, and we are going to give out the awards. And the special thing about this year's awards, I noticed, is that you will hopefully be the only group of people receiving an award with my electronic signature on it. And I hope to never give anybody else a college award that does not have my in-person signature. So your award is unique and special because I signed it and sometimes other people signed it electronically. So please bear with us as we get all this stuff to you. There's always money behind these things, and I've already been working on that, so don't worry. So please don't worry. Next slide, please. Okay, so we have awards for faculty, staff, and students today. And we will begin, next slide, please, with the Employee Recognition Awards. Remember, every year we give 2 Employee Recognition Awards. They can be nominated by anybody in the college. This year, I understand that we had a number, and let me thank again, Faculty Council. Tina really did a great job in drumming up a lot of support for a lot of these awards, and I know that the HR and others did a lot of work as well. And so I'm very grateful to all of you who encourage people to make nominations. So we have 2 awardees, and the very first awardee for the college, and awardees, once you see your name, know that there's a lot of people clapping in the background. You just can't hear them, but we are here for you. Awardee number 1. Next slide, please. Carrie Ann Beckford from the Dean's Office. Yay. So Carrie Ann's nominator said she demonstrated intelligence, competence, integrity, resourcefulness, flexibility, creativity, attention to detail, humility, and grace. A few of the many examples provided in the letter of recommendation included: first, without her judicious review and application of sponsors' guidelines for 2 international projects, our projects would not be successful. Second, without her presence and contribution, we would not be able to navigate the complex international treaties and taxation rules between the US and India. And third, her exceptional integrity is among the reason we trust whatever recommendation she makes concerning the administration of our grants. So Carrie Ann, we know that you didn't know this was coming, and so congratulations, and we hope that you're celebrating with us. Next slide, please. Employee Recognition Awards number 2. Next slide, please. Katie Vickery, Mental Health Law and Policy. Congratulations, Katie. Katie's nominators described her as dedicated, knowledgeable, problem solver, self-motivated, and going above and beyond to ensure the success of the sponsored projects, professional, competent, friendly, and well-liked. MHLP received a complicated award requiring paying several community partners and study participants through various mechanisms. Katie worked closely with the staff assistant that was assigned to the project, innovated a tracking system to assist the process while ensuring that no payments were missed and that the correct payments were paid to each of the constituents. She's a team player that is willing to step to the plate and pitch when is needed at the most crucial times to get objectives accomplished. Her documents and financial updates are well organized and easy to understand. She responds quickly to questions and requests for assistance. Katie, thank you for everything that you've done. Yay! Next slide, please. These are the Dean's Awards. There are 4 that we're giving out today. And the Outstanding Undergraduate Teaching Award, Outstanding Service Award, the Research Accomplishment Award, and the Graduate Faculty Mentorship Award. Next slide, please. Outstanding Undergraduate Teaching Award is given to recognize excellence in teaching, and the winner is, next slide, please, Elizabeth Cass, yay, from criminology. Recently, longtime instructor Liz Cass added another component to the USF criminology class that is receiving rave reviews. That matters. Dr. Cass's Crime and Justice in America provides students with the unique opportunity to spend a portion of the semester working a case. Using a real DUI manslaughter case, students start by examining the police reports to identify the evidence that will be available to prosecute the case. Dr. Cass provides instruction on 4th and 5th Amendment legal issues and the specifics of the cases that bring the issues to life. Thank you so much for everything you do, Liz Cass. Yay. Next slide, please. Outstanding Service Award. And this is given to either tenure or non-tenure who demonstrate at least 3 years of outstanding service to the department, college, university, profession, and our local community in the past year. And our winner, next slide, please, Dr. Ryan Henry, yay! In CFS and rehab and mental health counseling. The nominator says Dr. Henry is an invaluable asset to USF and its students. He provides extensive service to the CBCS, the Department of Child and Family Studies, and the Rehabilitation and Mental Health Counseling Program. He served as acting director of the program in 2018 and 19, while the program director completed a Fulbright scholarship. He's a director of the Marriage and Family Certificate Program, which boasts one of the highest certificate enrollments at USF. He also has provided leadership by his service on multiple committees and collects SACS data for the program. So thank you, Ryan, for all of your work. Yay! Then, in a very unusual move, the committee decided that we will be issuing a second Outstanding Service Award. This is not our typical way of operating, but nevertheless, we awarded the second service award. Next slide, please. To Dr. Michael Lieber. So Mike is deserving of the CBCS Dean's Outstanding Service Award because of his high-profile service to the discipline and community, as well as service to the department, college, and the university. Mike was a distinguished scholar, colleague, and exceptional mentor. He served the chair of the department for 8 years, and he was an excellent chair. His scholarly contribution should be best remembered for his desire to see the world become a better, fairer, and more equitable place. His concern for social justice guided his career, where his work focused on minority overrepresentation in the juvenile justice system, juvenile delinquency, and the treatment of disadvantaged youth in juvenile court. No more deserving a person than Mike, and Mike, we miss you. Next slide, please. Outstanding Research Accomplishment Award. So this award is given to tenure or non-tenure CBCS faculty. Oops, I lost my, of any rank. Oh, no. Sorry, I lost my.
Would you like me to hop in, Julie?
Nope. Oh, yeah, go ahead. You can do that part. I just need to find the.
This award is given to tenure or non-tenure CBCS faculty of any rank with at least 3 years of significant and continuous research productivity.
Oh, no. Hold on. My apologies. My iPad just went blank on me. Oh, here it is. All right. All right, we're back on it. We're loading. We knew it wasn't going to come off perfectly anyway, so we're still loading. Yes. So yes, outstanding research accomplishment. See, the computer just knew I needed a minute there to compose myself. Next award, please. Next slide. Carrie Rigg, yay! Dr. Rigg is nominated for his extensive research contributions to the field of addictions. His dedication to the research enterprise and to communicating his findings via publications, presentations, policy briefs, and the news media have made him one of the top addiction specialists in the country. Dr. Rigg's research intersects the fields of public health and medicine and focuses on the prevention and treatment of substance abuse disorders, particularly among vulnerable populations such as adolescents, rural communities, and racial and ethnic communities. Outstanding job, Carrie. Yay! Okay, next slide, please. This is the Outstanding Graduate Faculty Mentor Award, given to faculty who demonstrate the highest level of quality in the mentoring of their graduate students. Next, the winner is Howard Goldstein. Yay! Dr. Goldstein has been one of CSD's most active mentors. His graduate students have thrived under his direction. His students have gone to successful careers in academia, and they credit much of their success to him. His leadership, passion, and dedication to the area of graduate student education are invaluable to CSD and to the CBCS doctoral program that he directs. And we all know his involvement in the mentoring, developing the mentoring program. He is the embodiment of qualities that this award is designed to recognize: a role model, counselor, problem solver, long-term mentor, and tireless advocate for students. Howard, congratulations, well deserved. Yay! Now on to, next slide, please, the Dean's Student Awards. And we haven't given these out in a while, and I'm so pleased that we have them this year. So our we have two awardees for the Dean's Student Outstanding Graduate Research Award. Next slide, please. Dylan Jester, School of Aging Studies. Yay, congratulations. Dylan is an exceptional individual with tremendous intellectual potential and outstanding skills in terms of conceptual thinking, writing, and data analysis. He is hands down the best student in this cohort, completing his classes with ease and publishing high-quality, peer-reviewed articles at a rate that can be that's rarely seen in a PhD program. He publishes a very high program in a very highly prestigious outlets of study. He has exceptional work ethic, which is combined with exceptional ability to collaborate with others effectively, making him a great asset to the PhD program in aging studies. He has already contributed at USF in projects funded by NIH, the HRSA Training Grant, Donahue Foundation Grant, and the USF Nexus Initiative grants, and others. Congratulations, Dylan. Thank you for choosing Aging Studies in the College of Behavioral and Community Sciences for your graduate student work. Next slide, please. And our second graduate student award is, next slide, please, Lauren Miley, Criminology. Her nominator said Lauren's passion for research is evident in all the work that she does. For instance, his passion led her to start a criminology research podcast that is now funded by the USF Department of Criminology, and the podcast, if you've ever listened to it, is quite good. She saw this as a unique way to disseminate important research in our field via a platform that reaches an eclectic group of listeners, many of whom would not pick up a research article and read it, so they really distill these research articles. This passion also extends to her work in the research lab, the Spruce Research Lab, where Lauren works as a lead research supervisor. She conducts research and service as a mentor to undergraduate students, educating them on the research process through training and hands-on research experience. Lauren is one of the most successful students the mentor has worked with. Her hard work and passion for the field has made it an honor to work with her, in my opinion, and her opinion also qualifies her for this award. Congratulations, Miley, Lauren, and again, thank you for choosing criminology in the Department of, in the College of Behavioral and Community Sciences for doing your graduate work. Then we have Outstanding Graduate Student Teaching Award. That's what I have on my understand.
Maybe advance the slide.
Oh, you're going, yeah, thank you. Okay, this is not one that I have, but Amanda Cornella in Criminology is also an outstanding undergraduate research award recipient. Thank you for all the work that you're doing, obviously the good work that you're doing in criminology. We appreciate your mentor. We appreciate all the opportunities that the department has given you, and the fact that you're taking advantage of those opportunities is outstanding. Thank you so much for all your work, Amanda. Yay!
Julie, would you like me to fill in? It was number 7 on the summary.
Not on mine, but yes, go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, Amanda has served as a research assistant, project coordinator, and is in training to serve as the next project manager on a large study called the Psychological Assessment of Risk and Criminality, the Park study with the Pasco County Jail, where she will oversee and administer training for new research assistants on the project. She's helped with a number of projects in the Spruce Lab in the past year. She's also a research assistant in Dr. Edelyn Barona's Disinhibition and Effect Regulation Clinical, the DARK Research Lab. She has coded hundreds of cases, allowing them for the first time to examine the correlation between offenders' risk level and bond amounts set in the state of Florida. Thank you, Amanda.
Great, thank you for pitching in there for me, Tina. Next slide, please. Dean's Outstanding Graduate Student Teaching Award. Yes. And the winner is Averelli Fagetta, criminology. Sorry about that. I just slaughtered your name. I know it. But you're an outstanding student. She has served as a teaching assistant in several graduate classes and has served as a TA in 4 graduate classes. She incorporates team-based learning into her classes where she exposes students to various perspectives on controversial topics in criminal justice. Her teaching approaches have improved student understanding of the complexity of the criminal justice system. Thank you. Next slide, please. Tina, can you help me here?
I do not have an outstanding staff awardee here. I don't think this slide's supposed to be here, so I'd say go to the next slide, please.
It's just an announcement.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, no, I'm sorry. Now I remember. Okay. Thank you. Oh, gosh. Okay. Yes, Carolyn Jewett was recognized by the university as an outstanding and received an outstanding staff award. These are the big ones that happen every fall, every spring. And she was nominated by the college. I'm sorry. Yes, Carolyn. And anyone who's worked with Carolyn, you know what a conscientious person she is, and a nice person, and she's so helpful to everyone that walks in to our building. So yes, now I remember. Congratulations, Carolyn. I'm sorry that we didn't have the university didn't have a celebration to honor the work that you've done. And but thank you for that, and congratulations again for your win. Next slide, please. Okay, so let me just stop before I introduce and move on to Michelle Bourgeois. Patty, any questions?
Yes, I missed one question earlier. It's, are we allowed to travel this summer if meetings are still scheduled?
I do not believe that the travel restriction has been lifted. So at this point in time, I would have to say no. Get something to your chair, and we can investigate anything case by case, but I do not believe that the travel restriction has been lifted. Thank you for that. Anything else there? And thank you for helping me get through this presentation. So now, Michelle Bourgeois, AAAS fellow, will be doing her presentation on the work that she's done that has garnered her this success. Michelle, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Julie. Next slide, please. I'm very happy to and honored to have been awarded this recognition of my work, and I was asked to give you a little summary of what that work was. Next slide, please. I had the great opportunity 35 years ago to be working in the VA doing my clinical training when the first patients with dementia were diagnosed with dementia. It was a brand new diagnosis. Nobody knew what to do. And my supervisor challenged me to figure it out. So the first clients who I encountered complained to me about having problems being able to remember things they wanted to talk about in conversations with their families. So I invented or created this memory book approach. Next slide. Basically, it is a cheat sheet of captioned pictures that allows the person to read a caption and then describe that information in more detail. And I found that this worked very well, surprisingly well, for people with middle stage dementia. And I was very fortunate over my career to be awarded other grants where I could extend and try this out for lots of other problems that people with dementia are faced with, including not being able to remember activities of daily living or other important facts that people try to help them remember. Having a visual stimulus for that, we have found has been the key to helping them. I've been able also to extend that work in the nursing home. So the two bottom cards represent the types of problem behaviors that residents in nursing homes who have dementia have problems with, not wanting to eat or not wanting to cooperate with showering. And these visual cards, enabling them to read out loud what it says, help them to be able to cooperate and participate in their daily lives. Next slide. In addition, my work has contributed to a recent movement in applying Montessori principles to dementia care in nursing homes. So the idea that people with dementia have preserved reading ability, and therefore, if you post signs in a legible font that they can see easily, they will read it and then do the invitation, the activity that they're invited to do, like walking past a beverage table that says, please have a drink. They're very likely to pour themselves a drink. There are many applications of activities and other types of things that having a written cue helps these folks be able to engage in their normal lives and have a quality life. Next slide. In addition, some of my research has shown that people with dementia are able to participate in decision-making tasks and preference assessments if they have visual supports. So these are some examples of a preference assessment I developed where the items are pictured on cards and the person places the card on a map indicating whether they always, sometimes, or never enjoy that item or feel that way. And this has transformed how we think about persons with dementia and their ability to participate in assessing their quality of life and their preferences for what they want. Next slide, please. And this has extended also to very difficult decisions they may have to make, which in many cases families often are the ones making these decisions. But my research has shown that when individuals have written and pictured, illustrated cards that review the problem at hand, that they in fact can read and process it and make reliable and consistent decisions about important things like a feeding tube, whether or not they want one. Next slide, please. Here's some more pictures about that. And that basically summarizes the types of work that I have been doing to show that people with dementia have skills, preserved abilities that can be brought to bear using written cues and picture cues. And I've been very happy that I received recognition for that because I'm hopeful that it'll make a difference in many people's quality of life, including their caregivers. Next slide. And that's it. Thank you very much. I'll turn it over to the Dean for questions.
Thank you, Michelle. That was wonderful. I loved all the illustrations. It just made made it very easy to follow, and your work has just been incredible. I've known your work for a long time. We worked together at other institutions, so congratulations and thank you for taking the time to share with us. Let me just see, Patty, do we have other final questions? I just have a few closing remarks.
don't see any other questions, but just noting that I think there were other individuals in the college that also received the USF Outstanding Staff Awards, and so we'll get that list of individuals and recognize them at a later date.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This has just created such confusion. But I think overall, everyone has done such a great job in staying on top of these things. And if we miss somebody this time, I promise we will pick up on you later, and you will get the recognition that you so richly deserve. Let me just end then my piece of this, and I'm going to turn it over then to Tina, just by saying again, to thank everybody behind the scenes. You have no idea what it took to get this off the ground. I hope you found it helpful and informative. What I would like to do is probably host one more town hall before we all scatter for the summer. I know so many of us will be here, but if you find that this has been informative, I am more than willing to pull another one together, probably right before the 9-month people depart, so that any other updates that I might have, I can give at that time. I will work with faculty council on that, and make sure that if I want to hear feedback from the chairs. If this is something that you want, please let your chairs know. If it's something you don't think that's necessary, that's fine too. But I need to hear from you through either faculty council or the chairs that you would like to have maybe one more town hall meeting to discuss and updates on what's going on with the university. So thank you all again for being here, and let me turn it over to the amazing Tina and thank her for her service over the last 4 years. She's really done an outstanding job, and I appreciate, especially most recently, getting all kinds of things thrown at her that she's had to pick up and take care of, and amidst all of this and the family and all that. So I thank you, and the rest, everybody, please stay healthy, take care of yourselves, take care of your families, track your students. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. I really have enjoyed this opportunity. Thank you for your kind words, Dean Starovich. Really hope that this, because I'm going to reiterate this, hope that this is a helpful event for you all today. Also would like to let you know that I was reflecting on what Dean Starovich said about looking for opportunities for funding and adapting during this time. So I'd like to close with a couple of quotes. I'm one of those people that I really enjoy those. They kind of help me move forward and keep going with my day-to-day. During these difficult times, they are also giving us an opportunity to look inward, reflect on what truly matters, and connect with ourselves and our loved ones on a deeper level. So in the midst of chaos, there is also an opportunity. That's the first quote. The second quote I'd like to share is from Viktor Frankl. Whatever is going on, we have the power to decide how we respond. The last of the human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances and to choose one's own way. And then finally, a great quote from the wartime British Prime Minister, really about the strength of the human spirit to endure. Yes, things are going to likely get worse, but we can power through with courage. Danger gathers upon our path we cannot afford. We have no right to look back. We must look forward. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for continuing to move forward, for supporting our students. Even the littlest things that we do and the simplest acts of kindness really cascade down throughout a multitude of persons' lives. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and I'm looking forward to my next step, which will be serving as a CFS representative on the USF Faculty Senate, and I'm looking to that honor as well. And if you ever need anything, please feel free to send me an email, and I'm looking forward to continuing to getting to know each and every one of you in the college. I'm going to go ahead and conclude now, unless there are any final questions. I'm going to just check the Q&A, and I don't see any additional questions. So if it's okay, I think we'll go ahead and we'll adjourn at 11:59. We did it. Thank you all.